Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Scott here from The Entrepreneur. So today, I want to take some time and talk about Shopify. The reason for why I'm making this video is really because it's been very frustrating for me in the past when I started with Shopify or when I was looking for an e-commerce platform to start my business on, that there weren't really any great videos that explained to me what Shopify truly was. There are a lot of great tutorials that will run you through the easy setup, but I think all of us are smart enough to click a few buttons and enter credit card information. So really what this video is about is to give you an understanding of what Shopify really is, how it's originated and how it works in the marketplace, some of the strengths and weaknesses maybe even, and how it compares to some of the other competitors, which I think is important for you. I assume if you're watching this video, you may have some experience in e-commerce or you're brand new to it and everything seems daunting. So let me tell you, I was there not too long ago. I used to work in finance and quit my job a little over 12 months ago, decided to travel for a bit, and got into the e-commerce and entrepreneurial lifestyle from then. Going to share a little bit with you in terms of what I've learned about Shopify, and yeah, let me know in the comments what you think, and if there's any other videos that I could make for you. So yeah, let's get started. So jumping right into it, to give you a little bit of a background, let's jump into Wikipedia here to understand what Shopify really is. So Shopify is a public company. They went public, I think, in 2014, if not 2015. Canadian e-commerce company. Most importantly, they were founded by a guy named Tobias Lücke and two of his buddies. Tobias is a really, really smart guy. I actually had the chance to meet him in person once. The cool story behind it was, again, you can see it here. The founders were trying to open a snowboarding equipment company online and ran into a lot of frustrations and decided to build Shopify from there. And here we are. And Shopify now, as of this is 2015 revenue, but I think they're close to $400 million in revenue now. Actually, let me pull this up here real quick. So here we have the full year financial highlights for Shopify for the year of 2016. And if we scroll back down, there we are. We can see that they are, yes, close to 400 million at 389 compared to 205 in 2015. So the company is continuously expanding rapidly. I mean, this is again, this is very timely information. So almost $500 million in top line revenue, subscription solutions revenue, which is basically the subscription price that you would pay if you wanted to run Shopify. So you would have your monthly payment. This is what this is, 188 million. And merchant solutions revenue, which is basically the fees that Shopify takes off of the purchase, or what they call the GMV, the gross merchandise value. So you can see here $200 million, so plenty of transactions that are moving through. Let's see. One of the things I wanted to share a little bit with you is that there are different types of e-commerce platforms out there. You may have come across them. One is Magento, the other one is WooCommerce, and there are many, many more. In my experience, it usually comes down to most people between these three. And I can tell you that I have a personal experience, obviously, with Shopify and some experience through some of my partners through Magento. Never really worked with anything in WooCommerce. Also heard great things about it. But again, I think all these different platforms are made for different people and companies in different stages of their life cycle. What I mean by that is that Magento is an incredibly popular tool, and currently I believe the market share leader within e-commerce software globally. One of the reasons why it's so popular is because it's open source, meaning that there's developers all over the world that are constantly contributing to growing the platform. But more importantly, it's just a little bit more flexible, I guess, in order for you to integrate and make a lot of customizations, which is not really that important when you're starting out, but it gets a lot more important as you start to grow your business. And I'm talking about, starting to become a really large business. So for most small businesses, I would say that Magento can be a little bit complex. I think if you're not really technically talented or haven't studied computer science or are a coder, or at least have someone on your team who's very comfortable with front and back end design, I would probably shy away from Magento. At least initially, and then maybe consider doing the switch. But again, I think this is research that you should do on your own, and maybe even reach out to some friends or maybe some developers that you might know. But again, don't really know all that much about WooCommerce, but I haven't heard anything. Yeah, I guess when I speak to people, most people either run on Magento or Shopify. So. But again, WooCommerce also has a big market share. So Shopify, as you can see here, which is I think always interesting, is to look at Google Trends, just to kind of see how popularity comes into play, and it's pretty interesting here. Shopify being the leader in terms of search terms, but. And of course, the rapid growth. I mean, I believe, obviously Magento started out, came into the market earlier, and then sort of Shopify came early on, and then they went public and obviously got a lot more resources and became a much more sophisticated platform, and has since enjoyed really, really substantial growth, as we just saw by the financials. I mean, almost 100% top line growth, or revenue growth in 2016 over 2015. Now, the funny thing is also if you look at interest by region, and again, I'm not trying to overcomplicate things, but I think it helps to understand it a little bit more in terms of what the strengths and weaknesses of the different platforms are. So yellow, remember, is Shopify. So if we go into Canada and the United States. So again, Shopify is a Canadian platform, so you see how Shopify is really kind of dominating in the Canadian search region, and in the United States equal to Magento. But in other places of the world, again, like Magento, if we go into Russia, China, or even just within Europe, Magento is the platform that reigns and definitely holds the top spot. And that is because, again, it is open source. A lot of developers from all over the world are pitching in. And so Shopify started obviously here in North America. So they're now having much more of a focus on expanding their business, but they are still primarily focused on the North American market, which can be clearly seen here. So let's jump right into the plans. If you're looking at setting up Shopify, there are some things that you should consider. First of all, the monthly payment rates between the different plans. So you have the basic Shopify plan, which is something that, again, this gives you basically everything you need to start out with. So if you are brand new to starting your business, I wouldn't even look at these. I would go with the $21.99 plan, which is again monthly, and really learn the basics before you jump into a higher plan. But the most important thing that I would look into is here are these credit card rates, right? So whenever you make you have a transaction, a customer buys something from your store, these are the rates that apply. This is essentially Shopify's cut that they take from your purchase. So and again, focus more on this line rather than this. These are the in-person sales. So there are POS platforms that Shopify offers, but we're talking about the online stores, right? So you can see that they decrease as you move to a higher plan, which of course Shopify is kind enough to kind of start offsetting your merchandise, your volume costs as you kind of grow your business. But this will probably be the rate that will apply to you initially. So 2.9% on the value or item that you're selling, and 30 cents additional to that for any transaction costs. Now, 30 cents might not seem like a lot, but remember that this could be relatively high depending on what kind of products you're selling. Let's say you're selling smaller items like toys or maybe cups or anything that maybe has a small notional value, maybe between $5 and $10. Now all of a sudden this is not irrelevant, right? If you're selling something for $10 and you're getting slapped with 30 cents every time, that's an additional 3%. So really you're paying close to 6% on the entire transaction. So keep that in mind as you're modeling out your profit and loss and your product costs, to kind of so that you don't run into a scenario where you start selling and you realize that your margins aren't as high as they should be or as you thought they were, simply because, again, these transaction costs run into play. So then also important just to kind of look at these staff accounts, which is something that you might run into, and this is probably one of the reasons why a lot of people immediately switch up to a higher platform. Because if you're running something, I mean, there are definitely a lot of individuals who run stores by themselves, but if you're a small business, you probably have a few more employees, and especially people who may be packaging your product or whatnot, and they need access to staff accounts. So with the basic Shopify plan, you get 2 staff accounts in addition to yours. So you're the administrator, you're setting everything up, but now you can have 2 other people who are joining and can have access to the platform to the degree that you decide. So you can go in as the administrator and decide, my buddy Jeff can have access to X, Y, and Z, but he cannot make changes in these areas, or I don't want him to see this. So again, if you have people who are packaging your product, for example, and it's really more like an administrative role or something, then you may want to exclude them from being able to see any type of financials. And so, 2 may sound like a lot, but it's really not, especially as you grow your team. So keep that in mind. This may force you to switch over. Up until here, basically everything seems to be the same, and then we start to reach gift cards, which are an important part of any company, just because as you go into the holidays or just in general, in order to improve your product offering, gift cards can be very attractive to generate extra revenue. And I mean, they're very popular across the e-commerce space. If you look at different companies, you will see that a lot of companies are using gift cards, and so this is definitely a big value add, which is a reason why it's in the premium version. Professional reports, abandoned cart recovery. These are also 2 very, very important parts that differentiate this plan, the advanced plan, from the basic plan. Professional reporting allows you to be a little bit more, get more clarity on your financials. And that is extremely important if you are someone who really kind of wants to understand what is going on in their store. I'm someone who is like that. I like to dig deep into the numbers and really understand the dynamics of where's the money coming, where's the money going, just so I feel comfortable with my business. And also the abandoned cart recovery. So this is basically Shopify is going to be able to give you features to reach out to people who came through your website and maybe put something in the cart and then went over to checkout but never actually checked out. And there are many, many reasons why customers do that, but abandoned cart recovery is something that has proven to be very fruitful in the industry to integrate, just because oftentimes consumers maybe got distracted, or they were thinking about it and then they forget about it. But now you have the abandoned cart recovery functionality, and you're reaching out to the customer again, and the customer says, oh yeah, right, I wanted to purchase something, so let me go back and do the purchase. And boom, now you have converted a customer successfully. And I wouldn't think too much about the advanced Shopify plan, this guy right here, at this stage. I mean, it is a lot, $300 a month. But as you see here, we have the advanced report builder. So it goes even more than the professional reports, and third-party calculated shipping rates. I'm not going to go into that in too much detail here either. But yeah, so this video was basically just to give you an idea of what Shopify is, what its history is, and where its strengths and weaknesses are. Again, to summarize, I believe that Shopify is the best platform to start out with if you have a small e-commerce store and you're really kind of new to the business. I mean, even for advanced businesses, but generally it has the easiest interface. It has great customer support. I mean, 24/7 access to the support gurus, whether it's over the phone or via chat. I mean, you can basically ask them questions all day long, and they are more than happy to help you. I personally have found it to be a very easy introduction into the world of e-commerce, and yeah. So, any questions? Just shoot them to me in the comments. I'm going to be making more videos, and hopefully can add more value that way. But yeah, for now, hope you enjoyed this video, and see you soon.